Huh? Now I wait to see what the hell we're doing. Slide right up.
It's not the one we called up, is it? Man, that'd take a while.
And this is how you come down.
All right. I'm late. I'm late today, but better late than never. And my meat, bird, chicken, my turkey house is right outside that window. And I don't have to worry about them anymore. Made it another growth period without a bear coming in and annihilating my coop or breaking in and killing everything. Thank God. And we just processed just under 90 chickens. Whew. So that's one chore, daily chore we don't have to do anymore. Bring them or give them water and feed. And then tomorrow I get tweezers in the shop here, and we do the final little pin hair fine tuning on the plucking. Package them, put them in the freezer. There you go. What a day. Now, a few things that I'd like to mention. Then my brain goes blank. One thing that I hope, I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't follow global issues. And I'm sure there's a lot here that do. And for all of you who don't, you might want to listen to this message I'm going to share with you. It's very important, all right? Even though you don't want to hear about what's going on, you might want to have your head in the sand, so to speak, but it's probably a moment where you should maybe have a listen. So before the last and current big WAR was going down, I have a couple of direct links to the military. Very close links with the military. I won't even say which one. It's over here in North America. And probably about 3 weeks prior to the last WAR breaking out, I was fully informed that that war would be going down. 100%. So what did I do? I notified all my friends who have farms and ranches and depend on diesel fuel for their work, and I let them know. And I was the first person to let them know, and they all went and bought all of their fuels, backup fuels, and did everything they could. Luckily they did. Saved them thousands of dollars as then the WAR kicked off, and everything went crazy. So, my latest word from my direct military, direct, that means straight from the mouth. There are no military here in this one particular area in Canada where there's typically a very large military community. He said, quote, everybody's gone, nobody's here, they're all overseas, and they're in countries surrounding Russia. I can tell you that direct fact right now. And if you follow what's going on around the globe right now, the whatever you want to call them, the cabal, the military, what's it called? The military machine, the collective Western governments, they are going to go to WAR with Iran. There's no way around it. All right, just so you know. And when that goes down, that will directly affect all of you for easily your fuel. It's going to skyrocket. It's coming. It's coming. There's another little chunk of message I'm passing on. It's coming. And it's not going to be pretty. Sorry if you still got a bunch of sand behind your ears and it's itchy from having your head in the sand in the ground. You don't want to hear about it. It's coming. It's coming. It's sad. It's true. It's gross. It's embarrassing. It's coming. Everything too, what I do know from direct links. No rumors, no hearsay. I'm going to share this one. I have someone who is very directly linked to a few different topics, including the nuclear topic. And it was over a year ago that person told me that Iran already has the nukes. That's between me and him. Because he said at the time, that's the kind of information that spreads around you get killed for, but I don't give a flying shit. What I'm saying is, the chances of this nuclear exchange going down, and I'm not one of those people who likes to scare people. I'm just telling the truth, and I'm telling you what I know directly. It's looking pretty probable it's going to go down. Very sad, very frustrating. I wish that all of the evil, evil leaders that are currently in the position today to make this happen, and all of them are wearing suits, and all of them have tons of money, and not one of them's going to die. Not one of them's going to die. Isn't that crazy? All these dirty, disgusting, filthy, reptilian, subhuman people who cause this shit, no matter what happens, they're not going to die. Neither are their loved ones, their children. How sad is that? Too bad we could just take them all. Take them all. And put them in a pen. Maybe give them a weapon if they want. And then just throw them in that pen. Close the door behind us and let them go at it. Throw the leftovers to the fish in the pond, right? Anyway, there you go. There's my mention. Do with it what you will. Take from what you will. If you depend on a pile of fuel for your home or your business, you better top up now. You better top that shit up. Now, who do we got? What do we got? Let's listen to some more voices of the people. It's quite the email yesterday, wasn't it, from that police officer? And we'll carry on in the list below him. There's going to be a little bit of a hum in the background, but it's my heater, and I'm not turning it off. I've just been outside, my hands in ice-cold water, doing all these chickens, and I'm too chilly to turn my heater off. Now, what's this? This is titled A Quick Follow-Up. All right. Good evening. I just wanted to follow up. After I shared my and my daughter's experiences, I did feel better. But I needed to step back. And while I have no idea if you read my email, I had been resting and recuperating. Only within the last week I've started listening to others' experiences with these beings again. Of course, I had a dream about them right after I started watching and listening. Only this time, the female reached out. She asked me where I was at, and she was standing outside, but I don't know if it's where I live now or if it was back in Montana. But it didn't stress me out this time, and it feels because I shared what happened. Anyway, just writing it out and sending it to your email freed me emotionally. Now I can listen to others and learn about these beings. I truly appreciate, and I'm so grateful to you for this amazing thing that you've created. May you, your wife, and family continue to have many blessings. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, Mona. Mona, this place is absolutely nothing without brave, honest people like you. All right? So give yourself a big fat pat in the back for coming forward with your honest truth here, too. We appreciate you, and I'm glad you found this place, and I'm super stoked to read your email of the relief that you received from sharing your experience. So far across the board, 100% of every single person that's shared has not regretted it. Just for all you sitting in the bleachers silent watching and not wanting to share, just so you know, that's for you. I love those emails. Alright, what's this? Having a clue. Going in. My Bigfoot experience dash, I think, question mark. Hello, Stephen, the club members. Well, I never saw him or her, but I'm sure it was him because he/she was so forceful. One note to Ron. The guy that just told you of his story, 18th of October 2024, about having a stroke, and his daughter telling him that he's, quote, brain dead, end quote, LOL. I'm with you, Ron. I had a stroke a short few years ago. I can't remember exactly because all of the years run together. I, however, had a very mild one, thank the Lord, because one of the guys out at work told me that he's got more work for me to do. Oh well, let's get on with it, Lord. Ron, you keep on going to the woods using your walker because I feel that it makes you get better, so don't stop going. Kudos to you, Ron. All right, there you go, man. There you go, Ron. A note to you through me, through us. Let me get into it right now, Steve. Oh, and if I forget before I send this email to you, thanks for being you. You remind me of my Uncle Bud. Rest in peace, Clifford Brown, Korean War vet. He always had time for me and would teach me hunting and fishing. I loved that man dearly, God bless him. Back in 1971, I got stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base in Bossier City, LA, Louisiana. I just returned stateside from Puerto Rico on a shortened tour, and a Puerto Rican newlywed bride. She was so beautiful, I regress. After a while getting settled into a new duty station, the whole shop planned a get-together. So, we went along with everyone on a picnic gathering out at one of the big lakes a few miles in the area off base. The name of the lake is unimportant right now because I can't remember it. Oh well. On this outing, I had rented a rowboat to explore the lake. Rowing sucks, by the way. Rowing is a wicked way to get in shape. I used to do it all the time. What's going on here? Why is my phone dinging? I'm trying to shut that sucker off. Sorry. Alright, that's enough of that shit. Hold on a minute. I don't even know how to... How is that happening on my laptop? I do not know. I don't even know how to stop it. That sucks. Alright, sorry you guys. Sorry about the ding-dings. My new bride and I were looking for a place away from everyone, and I spotted a point overlooking the lake with a bunch of trees to provide us with shade. It was a beautiful day, too. Well, I got the boat up to that bank and got out and provided help for my new bride. First one, by the way. Up the bank, and we looked around for a place to sit and eat our lunch. And found one in a cleared area. It was all pretty clear, but this one was perfect. And after sitting down, I had a funny feeling shortly afterward. I didn't know what it was, but something told me inside that it wasn't right that we'd be there. So after I look at my bride, she's looking and felt uneasy about being here too. Looking around and stuff, you know. And then it hit me, all of a sudden. An overwhelming feeling hit me inside my head. We need to leave this place, and now. And then I started getting that sickly feeling inside and stuff. And then I told my bride, let's get out of here. So we quickly packed up everything and got out of Dodge. I got her and everything loaded back into the rowboat, and while rowing off, I turned to look intently at that area, not seeing anything standing out from the normal in the line of trees. Inside there, with a question in my head, what was that? I just rode my ass off away from there. I never mentioned it to anyone. When we returned to meet up with the crowd, we didn't stay long afterwards either, and it was just something that I didn't feel much about until I found your website and thought about sending it in to you, but have been reluctant. I'm sorry now for not pushing it to come out of those woods to whatever was giving me those feelings. I should have, but then maybe I wouldn't be here to tell you my story if my suspicions are correct. Was it a Bigfoot? I honestly can't tell you that it was because I never saw him, but I sure as hell heard or felt him. Let us all know how it's going for you guys up there. I would come up and help you, but I'm 75 now and feeble. I can only walk about an hour before I have to sit down anymore. Life is grand, ain't it? And then I've had to fight my way. And then I'd have to fight my way in there. Thanks, Steve, for feeding those wonderful kids and folks up there. You and your bride are making a difference, brother. I want one of your stickers, or as you say, decals. Laughed my butt off. Dan, Bonaire, Georgia. All right. I got you, and I got you this disclaimer you wrote down. And you ended with, faith is more powerful than government, and nothing is more powerful than God. Donald J. Trump. All right, man. I appreciate those kind words and your share. And, you know, a lot of people, I think some people come here just for the sheer entertainment part, right? Hoping to hear the crazy, scary story, the monster story. And that's not what we're about. We don't give a shit about that at all. What we give a shit about is truth. And word for word recounting of your honest experience, no matter how crazy or odd or horrifying or whatever it was. And you got to remember, you guys, when somebody writes in about a feeling, it's got to be really substantial what really actually went down that day, right? To knee-jerk you into wanting to email about it. And that's just a feeling. You know, that's not getting told, screamed at, chased, a log thrown at you, a boulder, whatever, right? So just remember that. Sometimes an email might not sound like much to the ear that wasn't there, but think about what's coming from behind that email, the motivation. That's got to be one hell of a moment. Right? What do we got here? It's a bunch of screenshots of me. This is odd. Okay, here we go. Mark, this is red. Bridging the gap between the natural world and supernatural is screenshot is the title of this email, sorry. Hi, Steve, Norwegian grandmom here. My people. I was listening to your October 17th, 2024 broadcast, and you asked about how come people have a hard time believing in the unexplainable aspects of Sabe not being as a natural species. And I was thinking on this as you read the people's accounts and wrote a reply in the comments, but didn't know if people would see it. Would see it. A couple typos, no big deal. Here are the screenshots of my reply. I will add one more small experience of my own on the end that defies human logic. Bracket. Read this after you read the below screenshots of my YouTube reply, end bracket. This is just one small such unexplainable thing in my life. Oh, come on, you guys. How do I stop this? I'm in a group text with some very close friends of mine, and it's hitting my frickin' laptop. I don't know how to stop it. Hold on a second. I think I gotta go airplane mode or whatever, right? I just did that on my phone. Wi-Fi is off. There you go. No more of that. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. Now. Okay. Read this after you read the below screenshots of my YouTube reply. Alright, so I gotta go back down to screenshots, right? Alright, here we go. Here's the screenshot number 1. I think the bridge between a natural, God-created species is an acceptable probability for many. To go outside of the natural sciences, we've been taught, is the bridge people have a hard time crossing. This is a little amazing for me, though, because if you've ever read the Bible, there's so many things recorded since the creation, the natural science, as we've been taught, can't explain. People have a hard time making the connection between that and their real life. In the Bible, there are accounts of people being translated from one place to another in an instant, and it's said in such a nonchalant way that it strikes me as though this was such a normal thing for God's people to experience that it garnered no shock in their accounting of it. We lost the supernatural type experiences being normal because those in power have beaten it out through ridicule in order to dumb us down and control us over generations. I've had so many such things happen to me that people are amazed to hear, but as I relate the accounts and how I can relate them as God's miracles in my life, they believe. We have to open ourselves to see things through a different point of view, and it begins with accepting what many things we see as coincidences are more than that. As we open our heart to little things, our spirit can accept more and more. I knew a guy that was asking God to help him for more faith in these things. He wanted to go to China to see some people he taught about Jesus. He got a letter from them explaining some kind of distress in their life. He couldn't go, though, because the Chinese government was... Next screenshot, sorry, give me a second. Because the Chinese government was cracking down on Christian ministry. He remained home and prayed and fasted for the group in China. Sometime, a couple of weeks later, he got another letter, and the one woman in the group was thanking him for coming to encourage them. Shockingly, while he was fasting and praying, he had pictured himself going there and them greeting him as he got off the elevator at their apartment. The letter stated that their joy and faith in God had been renewed as he had stepped off the elevator. They remembered what he had taught them. They were thanking him for coming all the way to China for them. All right, there's the screenshot section of your email. This is just one small, such unexplainable thing in my life. We were in Taiwan as missionaries for a summer, telling people about Jesus and how he loves them. As we made friendships, some young ladies were enamored with our children, especially the 4-year-old who was very petite for her age. They bought me a necklace. There was a teardrop-shaped stone with a Chinese word printed on it that said peace. They had asked what our names meant, It's a big thing for them to know that. My daughter's name is Erin, Olivia. Erin is peace within me. Olivia is peace extended to those around me. Both names are very fitting to Erin's life, even into her adulthood and mothering. The white necklace stone hangs from a red silk cord. They gave it to me and said for me to wear it until Erin gets old enough to have it and understand its meaning. I wore it a lot when we returned to Michigan. And one night I was getting ready to take a shower before bed. I took off my sweater as I flushed the toilet and stood up. Just as the sweater went over my head, I felt something go down my back. I turned as I saw the red silk cord swirling the toilet bowl and going down. As I showered, I was feeling sad that I couldn't pass on the necklace to Erin, who had heard the story of its origin and meaning several times. She knew it would be hers when she was bigger. I prayed that I could somehow convey my grief for the loss to my child in a meaningful way. Even as I went to sleep, I was sad. In the morning, I got up, went to the dresser to brush my hair. There on the dresser was the necklace. The stone lay face up, and the red silk cord was neatly encircling it a couple of times. I was astounded and gasped, "Oh God." And suddenly I felt the pure love of God, that He loved me and my daughter so much that He cares about even the small things and wanted me to also pass on the reality of His supernatural ways to my daughter and other children as a reality we live in. I hope this helps someone open their spirit to the fact that there is so much more to our world than what we can see and feel. Keep telling the truth, Steve. I love it that you're digging for truth and telling it honestly as you learn. I love it that you admit to being a seeker, and like us, we don't know all the answers. You're a good man. With much respect, Norwegian Grandmom. All right. I appreciate that email. You're very kind. And I went back in my inbox a couple days ago when we were sitting having coffee in the morning, and I think I might have mentioned I got to a section in the inbox where there was dozens and dozens of emails in relation to me having my knife, losing that knife, and 7 or 8 months later, 10 miles, 12 miles away, having it show up in my backpack. And that's where a lot of these emails came from. And a pile of them I haven't even cracked open yet. But a lot of those emails, as in this one, are going to prove that there is some strange things going on that we don't quite understand, right? But it's real. These amazing things do happen in this lifetime. Now, before I forget, give me 1 second. All right, we have some unfortunate news. And alarming. So, right near where I hunt solo, right near where I've had numerous very odd things happen, unfortunately, a man went missing last Friday. Now listen to this. I'll show you the picture in a second. RCMP have found Jim's truck on Ground Birch Forest Service Road. His phone, his keys, his bag, and firearms were all left inside. There's still no sign of Jim or his golden retriever, Murphy. Canine units and search and rescue are actively searching the area. Jim was last seen Friday at 11 a.m. by another hunter on the road. He's 6-foot-tall white male and was driving a gray Chevy Colorado single cab with license plate LJ 1079. How frickin' creepy is that? Yeah, that's not good. That's alarming. So very alarming to me, especially because that's where I go by myself all the time. And how the hell does that happen? Think about it. Here's the poor guy missing right here. Is he focusing? Missing. Hunter. Last Friday. Near Chetwynd, British Columbia. Now this damn focus on this frickin' computer. How do I do this? I gotta touch the screen or something? I think it worked. I'll add the photo after. There's a dog. and his truck. Now, how does that go down? Right? How the hell do you go missing while hunting with your dog is missing and your gun and your keys and your bag and everything is in the truck? Huh? My brain's been trying to make some kind of sense of this, and I'm trying to picture a scenario. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, what happens? What happened? So everything's in the truck. When do you get out of your truck? When everything's in the truck? Well, you stop to go pee. Maybe. So he stopped to go pee. The dog got out of the truck and the dog got out of the truck and went after something. And then what? He ran after it too, and then that's all she wrote. And they both go disappearing. There's one way how you could get out of your truck and leave everything in it. I don't know. What's another scenario where you would get out of your truck while hunting, just you and your dog, your rifle, your keys, everything you got, your equipment, you leave it in the truck and you get out of the truck with your dog and you disappear. The only thing I think of is you got out to take a leak and the dog got out too. And one of the two went first. One of the two went missing first. Right? He either chased after the dog, or the dog chased after him with whatever went down. I don't know how this is going to end up, but there you go. Shared. And I haven't had my InReach hooked up for past couple seasons. I guess that knee-jerked me to get my InReach going for this next trip, because I will be up there by myself in the same area in less than 10 days. That's shitty. Now here's a screenshot that I just saw with that screenshot of that unfortunate man. Long ago in the early 80s, a friend of mine and his uncles were shining deer with a spotlight. It was legal back then, yet on my reservation. They seen a deer and they shot it. They said it screamed loud, and a ball of fire took off from where it was standing in the woods. These are witches and not the type in movies, like The Wizard of Oz. They are seen a lot in different forms, like a shapeshifter. My girlfriend would see balls of fire on the side of the road, and when she would get close, it would disappear. My best friend seen some balls of fire going up and down the railroad tracks one time at night. Him and his brother got scared and ran. After they seen it wasn't coming after them, so they went back and kept watching them go back and forth. He said there's a few of them. The people seen an old man native wearing a top hat in buckskin holding a peace pipe. Other people seen a human-like being with a big smile and teeth. No fangs though. A guy was either stuck or out of gas, I can't remember, and he called 911. Told them this thing was looking in his vehicle window with a very wide grin. Dispatch sent DNR and tribal police to his location in the wood on a dirt road. One of the cops seen it and got it on the police car cam. He said it had no legs and was floating. What? My cousin works for the tribal police as a cop, and she said the FBI came up and took the video. I told her she should have recorded it with her phone. There are many different beings on Mother Earth. I seen one that was black and white like a badger, but as long as a small car. Its body was AMD. Walked like a Komodo dragon. This typo must have meant long. And walks like a Komodo dragon with fur blad and had white strips. Probably meant with fur black and had white strips. My older friend said he's seen the same thing I did, but 3 of them at the same place I was at. Other people seen dogs with no hair. One was standing up leaning on a fence. My cousin seen one running down the road, and her and a friend ran over it. They were looking at each other and didn't realize it was running right at the car. So to flip the next page, Down Highway 47, they heard it go under the car, and when they looked behind them, it was still running with its head turned all the way around, looking at them and still running down the road. There are many other stories I could tell you. Many people seen Sabe here in the Menominee Indian Reservation. Menominee? Menominee. Menominee. Menominee Indian Reservation. I don't know if anyone's seen a dogman, though. My friend said her and some of her friends were standing around at nighttime, I think. It was a fight with other girls they were planning on doing. So as they were standing around at nighttime under a streetlight, they heard sounds of hooves of a horse running. They said a ghost horse ran in between her friends. They all screamed and took off into her house. There are also stories. Little people here also. End of comment. Screenshot it. There you go. Crazy ass shit going on this planet. I'll tell you what. If anybody else is at that community, that native community, and you can touch on some of these mentions, email us at sharemystoryhowtohunt.com. Alright? Because we want to hear about it. We want to hear about it. Crazy. What do we got here? Don't know. Some short comments as I'm so heavily shadow banned on YouTube. I hope this helps someone understand. Me too. Dear Steve and How to Hunt family, blessings of insight. Bodies, question mark? Well, there was a guy who allegedly shot a young one and traveled around the States with it in a floor freezer, charging $1 a view. And it was tested for 3 days by scientists and allegedly bona fide. Reference Lloyd Pye. Everything you know is wrong. YouTube. Well worth watching. Then there's Kawani Lasparitis, who claims the government have tech to prevent them from shape-shifting to capture them, mess with their brains, and re-release them back into the wild half-mad. I really don't know, but nothing wouldn't surprise me about our military-industrial complex. Yeah, no shit. Evil group, that one, isn't it? As for shifting, it's tough for most because it goes against logic of Einstein's science to claim anything can reduce or increase its mass. Of course, in India is common knowledge, and from what I gather, known by most all indigenous tribes around the world. Yeah, I'm gathering that too myself. I think they might use Earth as a campground of sorts, although I am convinced this is their place of origination, whereas humans are relatively new arrivals. The testimony seemed to point to this, especially what Lloyd Pye shared with us before he died. They seem not to absolutely need to be here. They have a choice, sure. Nesting, hunting, migrating, portal hopping, etc. I've heard it said they are ambassadors of Earth in a galactic council, filling in for humanity if and when humans take up their place again. It certainly makes sense why Chewbacca, the Wookiee in Star Wars, was depicted as a pilot and a Jedi Knight. And I'll say it again, a Jedi Knight and a pilot. George Lucas must have known something. No surprise. That's what Hollywood does. They release truth in coded form. I found the testimony you read out that one jumped straight up into the air 20 feet and then just disappeared. Wow. Jumping into a cloaked ship? Hope this all helps. Thanks again for what you do, Steve. My wife and I call your show Storytime with Steve. We feel like children being read and fascinating bedtime stories based on truth. Wonderful. Thank you, Uncle Steve and the How to Hunt family of kind sharers. All very instructive to paint a bigger picture. All right. Absolutely appreciate your kind email, James. Absolutely appreciate it. The heads up. The mentions for our sleuths. I'd imagine we got quite the handful of sleuths here, right? As soon as you hear something mentioned, you go digging. I believe. What's this one? Recent. I wonder if this is... Okay, here we go. Let's just start reading. Regarding the man near me today, mind speak, abductions. Title of this email. Hi, Steve. I tried to put photos here, but can't get any to load. I'm going to save up for Starlink, as snail mail only works if I'm in town with Walmart internet. So I do have luck with Messenger here as it works. Here we go. It's 4:25 p.m., October 17th, 2024. You're sheriff from the guy near Joint Base Lewis McChord Army Base. In regards to the fella getting abducted in the Joint Base Lewis McChord Army Base area and his mind speak sensations, this guy is practically my backyard. I've only shared the face-to-face with the hairy apple thief 20 feet from me. Let me read that sentence again. I've only shared the face-to-face with the hairy apple thief 20 feet from me, my dog, Jiggy, scared senseless, the damage to my Class C motorhome, the tan, crushed portable garage, and losing my necklace like you lost your knife and its returned to me where I leave the apples and goodies. But this man needs to know he's not alone. First day, I have my new Lachero motorhome 12 years ago. Late afternoon, I was sitting on the bedside making plans to design and airbrush it for dog shows when I suddenly blanked out, sitting up with the table and my purple laptop in front of me. At that point, I woke up and was standing with around 8+ other people within a 10-foot wall fenced enclosure with coiled razor wire on top, a lineup of stranded single-wide FEMA sheds, lots of trees and white rocks separating the grass from the sheds. A Quonset building off beyond the sheds, and a large mowed field banked by tall fir trees. There's a long gravel road outside the gate between the field. Gravel inside the gate where we all were standing dazed. A triangular, smooth-edged flying thing with rounded edges and tips was hovering, viewing us, and it focused on me. Then I appeared in a blindingly white room with tall, anemic, white-haired people with almost albino-like features, long hair like spun Xmas glass, shiny hair. They spoke into my mind without speaking. During that, they were calming me and saying I was too old. I then became stunned and frozen in place, appearing on the RV's bed fully clothed and shoes on. What the hell? I told a friend from Fort Lewis, and he knows the place past the East Gate and Gunner's Range. He said the Quonset was used to wound goats for the new field medics to treat as goats screaming, help the medics deal with the screams and horror that the wounded troops go through. What? No shit. That's nasty. That prompted me to search for more answers. I contacted MUFON's Pacific Northwest Area Director, and he wanted me to attend the UFO event on the coast. They knew I was coming. Had a bag, t-shirt, documents, an identification, lanyard, books, and a raft of information. I was introduced to the guy from Texas, Daryl Sims, Military Intelligence Corps Association, CIA, Covert Operations, Senior Military Police Officer, with a phone number and an email. All right. His examinations revealed I have an implant in my left hand ring finger. He too knows the place I drew on paper and pointed out all the buildings. He verified what my friend said about the Quonset hut beyond the FEMA sheds. I still have his card. He was on the History Channel's Ancient Aliens being interviewed on the various implants he has collected. He wanted mine, but I decided to keep it. I will copy and paste this into the email below. Hope your Starlink works soon. I'll send pictures and the other people of interest as well. Thank you, sweetie, so very much. Tona, Carlo, Roy Washington, and the Hairy Apple Thief. You have my email. Hope this helps that guy. I commented briefly under your video. Wow, that's a lot. You have your implant, as in like you had it taken out of your flesh and you have it? If you do, take a clear picture of it on a white piece of paper or whatever you got and send it to us. We want to see it. I want to see it. What the hell's going on with this abducting shit? Abducting shit, right? What time is it? Okay, I got one more here. And then I'm gonna go. All right, one more. This email is titled, "Yep, they're real." I just stumbled across your YouTube channel. I believe you're the real deal, so I'll share my Sasquatch story with you. I've had many strange things happen in my life. Maybe I'll share other things in the future. This took place in the Appalachian Mountains of Southwest Virginia, Tazewell County, around 2004. It was a hot, sunny day in July, and my family had just moved there. We'd only been there maybe 2 or 3 weeks. My home sat on 55 acres, down a long gravel road surrounded by mountains, forest, and pastures. To put it in perspective, there were 9 homes on about 1,200 acres, and it was about 1.5 miles from my door to the main road. Anyway, there were cattle on either side of my property. I would hear their distress calls when they were alerting to a predator, or the sounds when they were separated from their babies. So I became very accustomed to their calls. One day around 11 to 12 a.m., I hear these distress calls like I'd never heard before coming from the acreage to the right of my house. This plot didn't have a home, just cattle pasture. It sounded like they were in imminent danger. I grabbed a gun and jumped in my ATV to go check it out. I assumed coyotes, big cat, or a bear were trying to take one of the calves off my neighbor's property. I can tell the herd is up in the tree line, but close to the pasture. I got about 3/4 of the way and got off the ATV so I could hear better. I walked about 25 feet from the ATV towards the sound, and all of a sudden there it was, walking from where the cows were wailing in the tree line. It walked right out in broad daylight, towards the pasture, towards the tree line, on the opposite side of the valley. I am frozen as I'm looking what I can only describe as a Sasquatch. I'm a skeptic, so I instantly tried to rule it out. It was approximately 7.5 to 8 feet tall, covered in reddish-brown hair, similar to an orangutan. Longer torso than legs, with long arms that ended about mid-thigh. The hair was more sparse on the legs and stomach, and I could see the muscles flexing as it walked. The hair on its shoulders and head were much thicker. It cleared ground so quickly, even though it wasn't running. It was walking with intent, but not a jog or a run. Its gait was just like a human, maybe slightly hunched forward at the shoulders. Right in the middle of the pasture is a large tree. Once it got under the tree in the shadows, it stopped. I assumed it knew I was watching. I was less than 100 feet from him, standing right out in the open. I'm talking to myself, saying, "Stay focused, pay attention to the details or any signs this is a human." As I'm standing there staring at this tree, thinking about how quickly he cleared the ground, how close I was, and the fact that my gun was in a pouch back on the ATV, I felt fear for the first time. Not wanting to take my eyes off the tree or a blink, I started walking backwards to where the ATV was parked. I quickly jumped on and drove right back to where I had been standing, 44 Magnum on my lap, and sat there. It finally came back out, walking in the same direction it had been before it paused at the tree. Feeling more calm, I looked for signs that it was like some kind of mountain man and not a Sasquatch, but nope. Not carrying anything. No weapon, not a costume, as I could see the muscles flexing once again. I remember thinking, where is he headed? Does he live here or just crossing through, etc.? Somehow I knew this had been his home, but he was leaving. I felt like he was sad. Like I felt sorry for it. Strange, I know. Anyway, I was so scared I drove fast back to my house and was thinking how stupid I was for risking my life standing out there for so long. I couldn't help myself. I had to be sure what I was looking at. For reference, I always thought Sasquatch wasn't real. I used to joke about how everyone said they'd seen it. We're drunk out in the woods and we're full of crap. And this is where my awakening happened. Where I realized we were being lied to about so many things. I've been a seeker of truth ever since. The things I've uncovered are so much darker than I ever imagined. Right? Keep being a truth seeker, brother. Appreciate you, Cindy. Cindy and I, and we all appreciate you probably more than you realize. Thank you so much for that email. Yeah, I'm glad it kicked your brain open and got you digging in more directions, right? Instead of, sadly, I feel sorry for the so many people who get this reality slap in their face and then they go tunnel vision on this one topic and they don't go anywhere else. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to stay stuck on it and dedicate your life to it without going off in all the other avenues that you must go down when seeking out the truth. After getting slapped in the face with this absolute truth, that these people and more are real and they're out there. And sometimes in here, without us knowing. Right? Anyway. I think I'm all relaxed now. I'm going to go inside. Excuse me. Go inside. Enjoy my time with everyone in the house. My dog. And get our chores done tomorrow. Big chore. I've had a few since I've been back. Getting this land cleared and getting the piles burnt down and getting all these chickens finished up before I start packing for my next solo trip to the north. I'll definitely have my head on a swivel, right? Head on a swivel. You can't help but feel for this poor man and his dog. Like, come on, what happened? What went down? How can they not be found? You know what I mean? Like, especially today with helicopters, just a helicopter and a thermal. You can't hide from that. I don't know what they are utilizing altogether to try to find this poor guy. But I mean, you know, a helicopter and a thermal, get it up in the air and start scanning. How could you not find him? And if you don't find him within, I don't know, how many miles radius, do you start to have to accept the fact that something else went down, right? There's so much of that shit goes down. And we all see it. We all see a photograph, an advertisement, you know, go to the gas stop, the posters all over the door of all the missing people. And what do? We glance at it, go, oh man, that must be shitty. Then we get our fuel, we jump in our vehicle and carry on. That's all she wrote most of the time, right? But what's going on? What is going on? I'll have my eyes peeled when I get back up there. Ugh. Shitty deal. Anyway, there you go, you guys. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Get your truth shared with the world, alright? Whether you do it here or somewhere else, just get it out. It's very, very important that you speak without being scared and get that knowledge shared. It's very, very important. And there you go. And take note. All the Canadian military here is gone, and they're in countries surrounding Russia right now. They've been there for a while. I don't think there's any way out of it. They're going to go to war with Iran, and all hell's going to break loose, and our fuel is going to go absolutely apeshit, which isn't the main concern, I'm just saying. That's what's going to directly affect us very soon. Not to mention all the, who knows how many innocent lives are going to die, all because of these evil snakes in suits. And none of them are going to die. And they're all going to make money. They got to be stopped. You get a chance, stop them. Later.
Yeah, got one. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh, didn't even see it on the camera down there. Oh, what a beauty. Beauty chrome fish. Wow. I tore my worm off. What's this? What's this? I get a fish? Look at. Look. Whoa. That is a beauty. Look at that.